Hi, good morning. Thank you and welcome to Spirit Medicine Ways, everyone. Our energy update for February. Cristina Maria here, Hummingbird Medicine. So nice to be with you, friends and family. I hope that this day has been going blessedly well. Whatever that looks like for you at this moment and in the way that you're living at this time. So welcome. Spirit Medicine Ways, we are doing these monthly connections. And so with that being said, make sure to check us out. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We have an office in Hoboken that we rent, and that's exactly where we are today. So welcome to Spirit Medicine Ways home in Hoboken, New Jersey, where we offer direct services and sessions to people with through curanderismo, medicine, spirit medicines, herbal medicine, the wise women tradition, through hands-on healing, energy vibration, channeling, and all those beautiful things that fall under the umbrella of what we've termed as spirit medicine, anything that invokes spirits, live beings. So please come and visit us and learn more and follow us at those sources. And we also have a YouTube channel, which this will be uploaded to. So thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. This kind of came at a last minute. So that's what this really, this talk today is about. It's about embodiment and also earth spirit traditions. We're in Imbolc, one of my blessedly favorite times because it takes us into spring and then into summer and then into fall and into winter. And there's a lot of changes going on, as we've noticed with Ascension. So I am very excited to share, but it was definitely an interesting experience for me to have to do this. On a little personal note that I think will inject great, I returned back into social work. Western, I'm a social worker. So I do psychodynamic therapy, as well as I work in the homes with people. And so now I'm returning into that. In addition to doing that, I'm also a caretaker for my sisters, for my friends, women, and families who have young children. So I support them, and I've been doing all that. So this video was a question if it was going to happen. And it was so clear that this is what you do, regardless how you look, regardless how it sounds. This is what you do because this is your soul's role. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So welcome again. I just want us to get into a little bit of space before we start our channel and our share, and allow us to get into some prayer for this time. And taking yourself deeply into your being through your breath. Bringing yourself again into your being with your breath. One more time, deep breath in as a collective. Soft sigh out. We call to the spirits and the energies that surround us, and we give you great thanks. Blessed ones who guide us, who show us the way. We welcome this time of Imbolc, this Earth Spirit first quarter holiday, and we welcome this energy of the new moon that surrounds us tomorrow. We welcome this sense of embodiment and knowingness in our body, and we open to our guides and to the light of our spirits that will naturally guide our soul. And we're ever grateful to those who are joining us today live, and those who are joining us in their spirit form or in their extended form of energy and vibration. We're ever grateful to all that you've gifted us at this time, and we open ourselves to all that is divine and wholesomely and holy, that which is ours of our heart and our beings as a collective and as a oneness, one heart, one womb. Aho, Ohan, Umateo, blessed be. So what's going on? What's happening in this time? And this idea of embodiment, what does that mean? What does that even feel like? What does that even look like? One of the things that we're learning is when I was preparing for this show last month, it just came to me. It was like, oh, so you're going to talk about this idea of how to live in your body. And I was like, okay, that makes total sense, because my feeling sense was getting a lot more astute and a lot clearer and much more transferable into words, and made a lot of sense to me personally. But I didn't understand how it made a sense in a whole, in a collective, and this is the word for family in sign. So I think like this, right? And how great it has a figure 8, yes? My nephews, my sister's children, they do sign language, and so I know these little things. But how interesting, right? That creates a circle and this beautiful, because it's F for family. And so this family, right, which lives within us, is that space of embodiment. And this time of Imbolc makes total sense. So it started to dawn on me that it was more of an understanding of how to feel whole and secure in our truth and in our knowing. And what embodiment really means is expression of physical form, expression in full physical form. So full expression. And how Ascension or traditional medicine sees, or EarthSpirit medicine sees, is that everything has a spirit, right? And then you go a little deeper, and some people think spirit and soul are the same, or some distinguish them. I come from the school of thought that they are different. And so this embodiment is that of our soul truth. And there's an idea of how do we feel secure in our truth. So again, I like to share things. As I look over and you see my eyes, well, I'm here doing this with some notes. Very fascinating experience. So thanks for that understanding. So how do we feel secure in this truth? One of the security experiences is a sense of safety and a sense of confidence in all that we are showing forth and all that we are experiencing. And that's a gift we're receiving now. It's really beautiful that we are being handed this per se, energetically and cosmically. And we'll talk more about that. Also, how do we connect with, live from, and be in this embodiment? And this equates, like I said, to the truth of our soul. And the truth of our soul is actually the light of our spirit. I repeat that. The truth of our soul is actually the light of our spirit. So what does that mean? Just a little touch on that. Our spirit is always living in love. And this is how we've talked about in last month. We talked about like soul retrievals and soul remembering. Everybody has different terms for it. But our truth is always there. Like it's really there, waiting, and it's always showing itself. Our soul is that which goes through the parallel lives, that which goes through the past experiences. So when we live in the truth of what this time for our soul is, and that can also be clearing and cleansing and purifying and clarifying, all those good things, our spirit is the light. Right? So if you want to look at it as a reflection or reflector, spirit shines the light. And it's neither above nor below, nor behind or forward. It's all of them. It's all of it. They're all happening at the same time. And they're actually, there's no hierarchy per se, or leveling. It's just how we understand it, because we're humans and we go from below to above. And that's how we understand the world. And that's most likely going to shift as we become much more melded into this spirit science understanding that's becoming very real. So the spirit is guiding our soul. And when we allow that light to shine through, that is the embodiment process. And a beautiful gift that I received this morning. I was dreaming about this embodiment process, and I was praying how I would be able to bring it into a tangible place that I can really give forth. So I have this beautiful plant. If you see this plant, excuse me, in my office, that plant is the angelic vine plant. It's also for Cubans, it's called malanga. And it's a vine plant that's used for clear spaces. It's also a channeling plant that will guide you. If you use it, if you sit with it, it's one that will talk to you and will tell you, and it will also embrace you. It does healing work. So its vines will go through your body and it will move to places that are hurt, and it will alleviate. So it's an extractor too. It makes sense that we have this plant in our home because it does that to our space. So my malanga plant, I have this gorgeous one. Its name is Athena Maria, and it has a beautiful history in my life. And so I woke up and I have this beautiful sunrise coming from the east. And the east is actually in my office on this side. And it shined. And when I woke up, the plant was illuminated. This is my eyes, right? I could be lucid dreaming. All those things are very real. Though it was very interesting. I lucid dream pretty often. And I often also have moments where I spend time in my bed space, or in that kind of coming back space before I get out of bed. And this is the first time I ever saw my malanga dotted. Like there was points and dots, shining lights, almost like if you know fairy energy, or if you know lightning bug energy, where they just light up. So everywhere there were sparkles, and they were very much alive, and it was very much a system, a network. And they were all lit at the same time, and they were all vibrating, and I'd never seen my plant. And I woke up very excitedly saying, and excitedly I mean like, oh, like that, really super, like totally, it was like, you know, great movie scene. And I was like, oh, that's embodiment. That shining light that, yes, it was coming from without to reflect it, right? It was the sun reflecting it, which is what we work with, natural spirit medicines, earth medicine, earth wisdoms. But it was within the plant. And that was the plant's spirit talking to that spirit externally. And it was using it and drawing from, as well as bringing out and gifting of its own life. So it lit up the cosmic platform. So that's my embodiment. So when I am living from my truth and I'm allowing my spirit to shine forward, right? So my spirit is nothing related to me as a human, nothing related to Christina, nothing related to Maria, nothing related to any of those human processes that I've adopted as my soul's journey. When I am able to do that, then my spirits can guide forth my soul. So what's been happening? How do we know that this is even real? What even offers me a platform to talk about this? Everybody's talking about it. One, some very pronounced channelers are talking about it who do this medicine work. And also last month, December and January, we have been receiving gifts and experiences. And if an opportunity has been gifted opportunity to re-experience or relive things, relive experiences. So for example, if there's something that we have still yet to clear, it's coming forth. And that's something that's always happening to us. What is different about this time is that we have access to a higher vibrational capacity. And this higher vibrational capacity is not, and I say higher, and I'm praying for new words so that I don't have to distinguish between high and low, but the high definition, right, like our TVs, they give a sharpened, pronounced view. They illuminate forward this mega light, and they offer us an opportunity to operate from these frequencies that are high definition, that are not dim. Low vibrations have a dimness, have a stale quality to them. And we have much more gifts from cosmic light as well as earthly light, because now we're moving into shared realms that are allowing us to relive these experiences from high frequency. And in January 2019, when we did our video, we talked about this idea that's called grounded clarity. And this grounded clarity, if you followed us, I hope you check it out. If you haven't seen it, this grounded clarity is very connected to our divine sovereignty. And for us to be able to express this divine sovereignty, we must embody it. And to embody this wisdom, it's a gift that we're receiving through ancestral knowing. And it's also a gift that we are expelling forward, per se, or shining. Radiate. Radiate means we don't do anything, we just be. And how I do that is by these experiences, like from a very tangible, probably experience, tangible opportunity, is that I relive this. So we're being offered these opportunities in life, and it's pretty it's pretty clear. Almost everyone I've spoken to, in my own personal life or in a clinical capacity, anyone who comes to see me for medicine work or anyone for journey or anything, everyone is being like, oh, this again or that again. Though there's a lightness to it and there's a quality, and we'll talk about that. And that's the collective gift that we're receiving from through Gaia Ascension or human ascension. So there's that. I also want to bring a little bit of attention to that. This grounded clarity is very poignant, and that's the word I would like to use. It's a poignant, sharp light, and not sharp as in jabbing at you, sharp as in the ability to see. Sometimes the sharpness can blind you if you're still assimilating the senses that offer you the ability to absorb. So I put cream on my body. I have layers, epidermal, the other dermals, right? But my epi, right, is my first layer. So if I have healthy skin layer, it absorbs through. And if it's a very good cream, it absorbs into my other layers, and therefore it absorbs my body. At the same time, I must be drinking through my mouth things that are going to create hydration. So it's a shared experience, but my body, my vehicle, is able to do this because it's operating at a healthy form. It has a healthy endocrine system. It gives, it's doing well. It's living in its prime, right? So it's a full experience. So what is this idea that we're ascending and that we are actually growing in humanity, and we're growing as a people and as a collective? So this is what tools we've been offered, and these tools have been, as I said, transferred through this cosmic light process. And how do we even know that this is real? More people are having this experience, and I can see it. I'm starting now to be able to see it. I'm starting to see when parts of us illuminate and parts of us dim. And it feels like we're all starting to see it in our own way. And this is the gift about the unique way that we receive understanding, and always honoring that part in our processing the story, or in this awesome, cool video that we're all gonna see one day from somewhere. So we're being gifted through this cosmic light, galactic form, also very underworldish. I think one of the things that we understand sometimes that ascension is only galactic. Actually, ascension is a meeting of the below to the aboves. So it's actually all coming into the middle world, right? So I don't know if I want to turn it. So the middle world, which is what we are in this realm, is actually infusing. So the middle world is becoming the upper and the lower world. Hello, ¿cómo está? I'm here. And the upper world is becoming the lower and the middle realms, and vice versa, right? All of that is happening. So it's no longer going to be this separate. And we've been talking about dualism and tripleism and all these isms. They're very pronounced in social sciences, and they're pronounced in what we understand as spirit science. So that's happening. And so this has sharpened an innate knowing, an ancient connection, our senses, and our connection to Gaia and these cosmic earthly states of ascension as a species. And as a species, which is us as humans, it's interesting. I'm watching Planet Earth for the first time. I was gifted it, and it's been very informative. And I look forward to sharing about that part and how that's a very real, interesting. Though, let's just stick here. I jumped ahead, but so we're being gifted with this collective ascension, a sense of openness, and we talked about this again in January. So this is what's part of it, and we know that with a sense of openness, there could be what we call things that don't always feel that good because we kind of say or we doubt them, or things that feel amazing and we allow ourselves to roll with them. And this sense of openness gives us curiosity, it gives us ease, and it gives us a lightness. And the other day, just Friday, I was sharing with a very close friend of mine about my process and how I'm doing all these things and how I'm being like skyrocketed into integration, which makes sense. You know, like all these things aren't new to me. I've been in the homes, I've done social work, I've handled very high voluminous cases, and I've worked with children, and I've supported my sister and family. Like, this is what I do. But now to bring it in with this idea that it's like my medicine role, it's very fascinating. But hey, I'm here, how I look, my hair, I could talk about many things. So I got this, so I'm having this opportunity, right? Because this opportunity to relive an experience and to operate from a high frequency or a very more of an evolved state of where I am. And I get this, and as I'm having the experience, I'm living it, then I got what I called a reflection video. It was funny. It was like, I guess sometimes it comes in like a projector to me. So yeah, okay. So it comes in as a projector to me. And all of a sudden this flash of light comes in, the same exact experience. It was identical, and it all happened literally in probably seconds, right? And I'm here having the experience, and I'm having this process because I have multiple processes at one time happening often in my being. And this reflection video comes in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, so this happened, and that happened, and this happened. And the whole process at this very high vibration expanded. And so that was a beautiful gift of the ease, the lightness, and my curiosity happening all at the same time. So what happens on the other side, right? We can naturally become, at this state of awareness, heightened awareness, we can actually become annoyed, frustrated, guarded, scared, and to feel tired. It's very common, you know? So always remember to use the tools that we have available to us, right? Wise when away, use what is most readily available to you. I just want to make sure I'm checking my time, and I have a client. So this is real. So make sure to connect with our guides. Make sure to establish a source of strength and connection, a real source of guidance with the beings that are here for you. If that hasn't been established clearly through you, work with someone. There's so many of us who are doing this work in some form. Also, make sure to access light sources and natural light sources. Not like natural light, like you have beautiful glowing through my window, but natural light sources, meaning work with the natural being and habitat that we have around us. The sun in the day, the moon at night, the day and night light, right? When the moon is in her sleepy time period, like now, new moon, it's the darkness. If you don't live in the city, like me, I live very much in the city, very much in the city. And in natural sources, when the sky is dark, because maybe it's a cloudy night, the natural dark light is phenomenal. And you can, even if you live in the city, work with these energies, as I've been learning, if you wake up very early. It's a beautiful time to do this work. And I am a proponent, and I am a supporter, a human supporter, is a biased statement I'm about to make, of waking up very early to do spirit work. To wake up very early to prepare to go to a job outside of your home, unless it is that you're doing a healing, a cleansing, a limpio, or something related to the natural forces that are happening in the air, I don't really support. But I understand that it's the way that we live and that we're learning to transform out of that. So I'm here to help that. So work with these natural processes, and also work with the natural emanating lights of your within. Okay, did you feel that? I got very excited because I feel it in my body. The natural emanating light of within, and it's this this glowing force field that lives actually internally in us, and it vibrates, and that's what creates our auric expansion and the auric field and that beautiful processing. So access these tools to help you through this collective ascension process and this collective assimilation of this high frequency energy so that you can be in full embodiment. One of the things that will start to happen naturally because of the society that we've created is that there will be a greater consumption. It's very natural. We've created a society that consumes when it receives. And it's something that we're seeing, and it's part of our ascension process. And I'm grateful to finally be assimilating because I can go from the very interesting old ways and personalize and have a very personal relationship with nature and Gaia and our cross processes. So often feel very attuned to the experiences that are happening around me. No, it's part of our ascension. And I'm grateful that she told me that, or it told me that because I was having trouble. and so we naturally consume more because that's how we've learned how to process emotions. And that's a very low vibrational or a very dim way of experiencing this high light, but it's very natural. So in this process, please, I invite a sense of kindness, like human kindness, and a sense of patience, and be patient with your process. So something that we do know that is when this happens, it's usually because can be attributed to our mind being the greatest force. So we have our soul, we have our mind, our body, we have our spirit. So I like this, I see the soul, and I've talked about this plenty, as the bridge to the spirits and our mind and our body. Our mind is not our brain. And I love that, because our mind is amazing, as is our brain, which is our body. But our mind is that part that is spirit. It really illuminates spirit in this very real, embodied world, right? Our mind could be a little crazy. We crazy town in there. I know it well. Me and the mind, we got a special relationship, as we all do, because we got one. So when it's largely in control or largely the leader, that's when we start to see these things. And something that's very important to remember, and I'll repeat this, divine harmony is equal parts spirit, soul, mind, body. Yo repito, divine harmony is equal parts spirit, soul, mind, body. Yeah, that's real. And divine harmony is a real state, and it starts within us. And we have access to that. Excuse me, my apologies. We have access to that, and we have the ability to see that part. So, all right. I'm hoping that I'm really coming across clear because I'm moving here a little fast. I'm just trying to make work, people. Okay, so we have these opportunities, right? We're being given these opportunities to embody, and we're doing it by way of kind of a reflective capacity, which makes sense because it's Imbolc, which we're in now, the EarthSpirit first quarter holiday of our year, is a reflective time because it is the end of winter, the beginning of spring. And that little like corner transition is a reflective time, and it's so beautiful. And I get very excited. I'm a spring baby. So another thing I want to touch on, these experiences, which is that connected to that patience and that kindness, is that we are all in our unique journey, right, with our highlight. And the more, we talked about this in January, the more that we can really be free of comparison, oh my goodness, it's like climactic. It's this ability to be in your full form, wherever you are. And so that's our unique highlight. And that's our unique understanding of this process and this receiving of collective wisdom, of human and Gaian ascension wisdom, is then embodied. So remember that we're all in different stages of our growth, but we are all growing together. And freeing ourselves of comparison is going to really help that. And so I've been noticing a lot more people operating, sorry, my little thing here, my easel. I've been noticing a lot more people operating on this. I'm seeing the curiosity, and I'm seeing the openness, and how I said I would share, right? How I'm seeing this, well, it's really beautiful. The mind starts to be lightening the mind, like lightning, not like strike of lightning, particularly, but like lightning sources, like when you light in a room, bringing lighting to it. Lighting, Lighting. It is lighting the mind. It's phenomenal, this process. Like, so I'm going to try to really explain this in my most explainable way, and hopefully it'll be transferred and transmuted in the DNA. So when we're in these processes, right, the mind, the emotional processes, we're reliving these experiences. The mind is almost is being lightened by the spirit, and it's beautiful. It's almost like not halo. It's not halo-ish. It's a very when you see a light bulb expand, it's like that, where you can tell that it's your spirit, because it has a very different hue. It's not electronic, it's not mechanical, and it's not an outside source, but it is connecting with an outside source. And it's the most beautiful lightning of the mind, because it starts here and it vibrates out, and I see these, it's like a glowing essence, and then it forms outward. And so in the middle of these experiences, where they're getting to live and receive from a higher frequency, that starts to happen. So there is this visual experience happening that is showing us that this is real. This is spirit science. Oh my goodness, spirit science. Spirit is science. Scientific method is scientific method. And that's what these beautiful Gaia's videos have taught me. That Planet Earth videos, that spirit is science. And so I'm grateful to receive it in that visual form and through these, because it is pretty dynamic to know that now, and to have a platform to say that what we are talking about is science. And it has qualities that are provable, experiential as well as qualitative, as in we can start to track these things or let them guide us and we can follow them. So one of the things that does get in the way, though, is the mind of its own lightning. And that, what I usually find, is the emotional body. We call it the emotional body. I like to kind of keep it in the mind, so the emotional processing. And this emotional processing is usually connected to bonds and attachments. And like I said before, bonds and attachments are usually stale and heavy energy. And a perfect example for me to say is, had I not done this video, because I was attached to the way that it had to be done, I had to look, my hair is a hot mess, I have a client, I haven't put it out, I haven't been on Facebook, because I'm really busy in this new world that I just dropped on me and I needed. And it's clearly the way that, God, Goddess, Great Spirit, Creatress wants me to operate. But there was this clear inclination that there wasn't a real question. What I do, there wasn't much thought process. However, I did have the opportunity to connect with my attachments, to how it had to look, how I sounded, how I would be, if I was prepared enough. My favorite is prepared enough. Always so prepared. It's my own process. It's amazing. I think it's a human process, but I experience it very funny. I like that about it. And had I not produced this video, then I would have been in that mind. But I opted to, because this is where I am in my personal journey, to go forward with this, right? And that is a perfect example of that mind lightning and staying with that source and staying with that process. And I know these are, big ideas, and sometimes they don't make sense. So please ask questions or share whatever clarification you need. So the question is, how do we live in our body in full expression? Right? How do we embody? Well, that's where our Earth Spirit traditions come into place. And that's, for me, one of the greatest joys that I can give to you. The ability to connect and feel, because one of the things that started happening very early in this month, better said, late in January, was this ability to feel. And I think that Imbolc offers us this by way of its connection to spring, and the way that now it's right with the new moon of Imbolc, and this new moon is also the Chinese New Year. So this is something that lets us know that these Earth Spirit traditions are connected in every tradition in some way. And Imbolc, if you wanna really allow yourself to feel it through, is this beautiful time where the very deep part of Abuelita, Madre Tierra, Papa Tierra, green men from the woods are stirring. Oh my goodness, they're stirring and they're like waking up and there's like yawning, but it's a very forefront process. It's a pre-process. We're not seeing anything on the ground. In New Jersey, we just had like below 15 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Like we're now at 39 today, we're at 40, and that's another conversation. But we're still very deep in the throes of winter. We still have that very cold, brittle essence. Deep in the ground, there's an awakening. And it's happening through the cosmic forces and the underground. And it is beautiful. And Imbolc allows us to remember that. And when we see it by way of our body, it's what's happening. We have on the northern hemisphere, we have the already coming back of the sun, right? We had that on the winter solstice. We even saw the time changing, lightning here before at 3:30. You were like, oh my goodness, it feels like 10. And now today at 3:30 feels like 3:30. It's amazing, right? And so this broadening of light while we're still very cold is the invitation to continue to still reflect. It's an awakening process though. It is a slumber kind of process still, like that in between time that I had this morning with the embodiment, right? Really connected, that part, very real, but it's a grander scope on this blessed being that we live on, that feeds us, that nourishes us, that gives us our life. And it's like a story, and it's deeply within. And it's also the ability for us to see that within us, that blessed place. It's also characterized by fire and hearth. And hearth is in old age wisdom times, and even now, it's the fireplace, right? That's why it's connected with our girl Brigid. The fireplace. And the hearth is really our body, and it's really our spirit. And the hearth is something that is our core. It is our core central belief system, we can call it. It is what drives us, it's our passion, it is our movement. And so Imbolc, at a time of Ascension, embodiment, and right before this new moon, and right aligned, it's all like right there. And perfect examples of everything happening at the same time. Is a beautiful time of fire. And it's a beautiful time of embodying the fire that is your spirit, which really ultimately translates into your soul. And also using fire in a wise way, because it's fire, earth, and also an opportunity to purify and cleanse. That's still a process that's happening, as we notice by the reading and experiences. But remember that purifying and cleansing isn't to say that we're dirty. And I repeat, purifying and cleansing isn't to say that we are dirty. We're not doing anything wrong. We've never been doing anything wrong, even though we've done really hurtful things. We really know how to operate with hurtful love. Really been good at that. That will explain more in our times to come. But it's an opportunity to really clarify the processes and connects us back to our grounded clarity. And it's like our first spring cleaning, because it's spring, me people. It's the beginning of spring. It's the pre-stages. And it's also very much about this intention. It's connected to intention. So now we have a new moon that we know is all about intention. And we have Imbolc, which is all about intention, right? And this intention is actually a seeding. And I remember when I was writing this last night, maybe this morning. It was this morning. I have to laugh because that was real for me. I experienced that. Y'all were there. I know you were. So I had put on planting. And I think we have an understanding on Earth as humans that we've created that planting is outside of us. So I go into the ground and I plant. Or that I go into my fertile ground, which is my body, and I plant. This is a seeding that's happening from within. They've already been planted. These are core seeds. Core seeds. Imbolc gives us the opportunity to see core seeds, which if we connect them back to that embodiment of ascension, that is core wisdom. Eso es tuyo. That's yours. So when I came to this really clear processing and understanding that Imbolc was connected and that's why it made sense that they asked me, well, how do you live in your body securely? Because our core seeds are already planted. So I'm not going outside. I need to plant a seed. Yes, I can do that. It's a really beautiful ritual. It supports our earth and it supports our surrounding, our external, because remember, what is within is without. What is without is within. It's the circle of life. Lion King did it best. I love the song. I almost sang it right now, but I won't. I'll spare you that one. So this seeding and this first cross-quarter holiday, which is a transition holiday. Remember that we have our big ones, we have the solstices, we have the equinoxes, the ones that we love, because they're grand. Because we're the humans, we like the grand stuff. But this cross-quarter is also connected with Brigid, the triple goddess. Oh my goodness, that Brigid. She's the beginning of sensuality. She's the beginning of what will happen to us in the spring when meltdown starts to come, and we'll be at Lamas, more like really blowing in the greens and the reds. And Brigid in this triple goddess is associated with fire, because fire is associated with fertility, in addition to cleansing and purifying. She's also a smith woman. Brigid is a smith woman. She's one of our smith women. And like Artemis is our goddess of the forest, well, Brigid is our smith woman. She who helped the swordsman. She was one of the first to be a craftswoman and to work with swords and to work with iron and to work in this artisan capacity, which is our ability to create and our ability to be connected to metal and our ability to be connected to healing, because she's a healer too. So she brings in this reminder of that creative essence that is within us and that seeding that is fertile, our fertile ground within us and connected to this embodiment. So the idea of our fire and our earth and how do we bridge this Imbolc, right? And connect it to the energy that we have. Well, as we said, we have Imbolc here, right? I'm going to first drink my water, but then we'll see. Okay? Yeah. So we have embodiment here. We have Imbolc here. And there's little flechitas, I was going to say, when I speak English and Spanish, arrows. That Imbolc is embodiment is Imbolc. So it's neither and or, it's both, right? So Imbolc, seeding, creation, earth energy, deep underground, earth core, and then we have embodiment, bodies, physical form, soul's truth, spirit's fire. If you see them together, they're actually one. We just have this Earth Spirit holiday to remind us, and how poignant the connection. And what a gift we have now is this new moon tomorrow. And new moon, wow. They are just an opportunity to really sit and divine. I've been doing moon wisdom work for a long time. And it's one of the things, and this is my transforming gift, when I had Robin Rose Bennett on, my first teacher, friend, colleague, and witch and wise woman, who really introduced it to me in a very scientific form, in a way that I could talk about it, not in the way that I was doing it all my life, in addition to the way that I was doing it all my life. I made it really real. And in one of our talks that we had on moon wisdom, I said, one of the things that working with moon magic and working with the new moon and the full moon, and it's changed my perception of time. It's brought me into a realm of understanding time that was prepared me also to understand time when I went into altered states of consciousness. But like very much here, and I think that that's what we're seeing now. We often jump into altered states of consciousness, and we kind of couldn't do a lot of prep work there, trust me. Do it all the time with the people. Though if we could do that altered states of consciousness work in ways that it's a nice transition and kind of like kindness, and still receive, then when we get into these states, these grand states of expansion and these grand states of ascension, when we're ingesting beings or spirits, then we have a real gem of a treasure. And moon work does that. And I remember when I shared that, she was like, well, Christina Maria, how do you do that? And I was like, it really just taught me, because through working through the cycles of the moon and working with it intentionally and magically, and then seeing and adapting my senses, because that's what's happening to us, right? Adapting my senses, it started to talk to me, and it started to have this flow. So where I would notice where the moon intention was working or happening and being manifested, that would slow me down to understand the currents of what was working in the invisible realms. My goodness, what an important tool for trance work. What an important tool for magic work. That's why witches are awesome. And they work to do the job that witches do. We help humanity. If anything else is happening, that's just a witch gone south. A little sour. Changed. Witchery is blessed. As is shamanism, as is curanderismo, as is all these isms that, kind of go their routes because of many of the reasons. But that's another philosophical conversation. So this new moon is in Aquarius, and I think I shared on my personal page, Cristina Maria Rojas Fernandez, I shared a post that I talked about Aquarius in 2 years ago, I think it was. And it was so phenomenal to me to realize how perfect it was for today. I was like, and I shared it in January. I was like, okay, this is freaking me out a little bit, but I gotta do it. I'm a little ahead, all these things. Send. That's what I do. You tell me to send it, I send it. And so I did it. And so this Aquarius new moon is very much about intended focus, about dreaming. And there's so many other parts about it. And I'm gonna post a really nice write-up. I love these women. It's Lena, I can't forget her name right now, but she's a shamanic practitioner who's also very connected in Icaros and plant medicine, ayahuasca. So she's an hermana in that form, but she's mainly, she does pure old school shamanism, with drums and all that good stuff that I really appreciate. And then there's Patricia Lyles, who is the astrologist. So they have this beautiful melody where they come together and they talk about things, and it's like, oh my, surreal. So Patricia Lyles, I'll be posting it on Spirit Medicine Ways probably tomorrow. Because la cosa está seria hoy. And I'm going to focus on this, but about this new moon. So please read it and check it out. I think you'll appreciate it, and comment. Always appreciate comments of love, even if they don't agree. That's cool too. I'm totally about it. But like loving me, right? So anyway, so this is like an opportunity. Aquarius is known with an opportunity to dream big. This is just a basic understanding of astrology. It's an air elemental, and it totally connects with Imbolc, right? Air, beginnings, time of the East. Like, come on, can we get any more perfect? And it's about the soul's dream. So if we have this opportunity, right, with this new moon that has all this movement around it, about connecting with your soul, and plus we're moving in a human dying ascension pattern that we're seeing where embodiment is now this time. We have Imbolc, which is about the earth and know and the earth's creation and stirring up the embodiment of that and the seeding that lives within us. Then it's all that core soul work. And some of us again are still clarifying. And that's what we're going to do this ritual. We're going to talk about a ritual that that helps us do it, right? That makes us practical. And these rituals can be transferred into anything. Though we know, going back to the to and apply to anything, that's what I mean. We know going back to the new moon that it's a time to create and to manifest, as well as an opportunity to reflect. So let us use this wisdom in that way. So my question is, right, and we ask, where is your soul in this time? What is this process? Because these are great questions to pose for the new moon, as well as to pose for your work with Imbolc. Imbolc usually happens at the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So that's usually about the 5th or 6th. So that's this little week, next few days. We like to align it with Groundhog Day, stuff that we do. But so we're still in the process and we're still in this window. And what will be that soul's work? What is your soul asking for? And that which is asking to be embodied, what is hidden? What is kind of like still under the sheets? What is asking to be magnified with the warmth of the fire as well as transmuted with it? Right? This is a beautiful excerpt that I'm just gonna read from Patricia Lyles, and it says, Black Moon Lilith, which is just a point where the moon is in a geometric like equation. So you'll learn more about that when I post it. But she writes, Black Moon Lilith, speak truth and own our bodies and its embodied wisdom and the magnificent power of the womb, out of which the mystery of life emerges from the dark void. How beautiful is that in alignment with Imbolc? And how beautiful is that with alignment of the idea of one heart, which you'll know that I often speak about. How I learned in our last ceremony that I had with ayahuasca is one womb. So one heart, one womb, one human, and one race, really. Because womb, we have it all. My womb just lives, and your womb seeds a beautiful, a gift, feminine, masculine, so I hope that idea of this new moon gives us a current of wisdom and understanding. So a beautiful ritual is connected with fire, and I was very interested on how I was going to share, like what was going to be the ritual and how it was going to look and how it was going to make sense. And so this is something you can do on your own. And then so we're going to close out with this. I'm just offering you this ritual. And then I'm just going to do a little chakapay, just do a little clearing, opening, also seeding in the body and waking up those seeds, right? That's just a little something because we're coming to our close. And I just want to say thank you. At this point, thank you for all of you who joined. Thank you, Areli. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, loved ones. And I hope that this expands really far out. So far out. And can be heard and that we keep coming back. Looks like we're going to be here for a long time. So they tell us. Yeah, and I made the request. That's not that crazy. It's not like they just did it all. I was very clearly there signing the letters and the papers. So this ritual is connected with candle, and it's candle and seeds. If you want to have them outside, just to symbolize the seeds that are within you. And you can choose your favorite seed, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. You could even choose seeds that you'll eventually plant in the ground. Have them there. So beautiful, or our beautiful perennials that we'll be putting in the ground now, or even fruit seeds, whatever you choose. Also evergreen, it's the lasting tree, remember? Evergreen, I have some here on the altar, some green, some eucalyptus. here for a session coming up. So an evergreen, which is a pine, something that establishes life as always, never goes down. We do whatever we do, Earth does whatever it does, evergreen lasts. Such a beautiful wisdom that the Earth gifted us to remember that it's the leader. So instead of evergreen, and wearing white, white is really beautiful to work with right now because white signifies purity and clarity. Remember, we're in that first beginning of spring, so we're clarifying. We're using it, and it's also very reflective. White is also a beautiful reflective color. I learned we use it a lot in ceremony, especially when we serve medicine, especially when we're working in dark realms. Also, whenever I'm doing any really spirit work, I often use white. And depending if there's other need for me to wear something else, I will. There's no question. Like I'm wearing this little baby pink suit because it was what had to happen, and it perfectly worked with Imbolc because it's soft and it's tender, and Imbolc is about that softness, tender, and gentility. Although there can be a sense of a little toughness, because that's where we are in our process. Cool. It's okay. So, candles, seeds, evergreen, white, and a very favorite essence of mine, even though there's many other essences that they talk about and other plants, is Yerba Santa. Yerba Santa is a beautiful, it's a coolant, first of all. It is a coolant. And it's beautiful at purifying energy. Not yet to meet a medicine essence that does that. Not like that. And it is. And then I had a beautiful homeopathic doctor in my office. We're a group, and we have homeopathic doctors, and we have acupuncturists, and we have Reiki masters, and we have energy healers, and then we have me. So we're like a cool bunch. So please come and visit us. In any case, blessed homeopathic doctor, Dr. Joe, he tells me, well, what is that? And I told him, Yerba Santa, I don't really know about it. I remember this was last year, December. And at that time, it was a tough time. I had a traumatic accident. There was many things happening in my life. And we were in like the throes of the medicine. Really deeply. That was 2017, December. He goes to me, you know that Yerba Santa also is antibacterial. And it purifies the air. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. So whether we could believe that I was influenced by that data, of course I probably was because I'm a human, but it started to show me. And it showed me when I was working with it in the medicine realms, when I was working with medicine. It started to show me how it would go in and clarify and purify. And not an extracting form, but very much an air form, an air quality form. And if you know anything, our air is pretty hurting in the world, in this earth. Where we humans are occupying, our air is hurting. It's becoming a little less clear. So Yerba Santa for this time, to really clarify the realms and to walk it through in that way is beautiful. So you light your candle, your fire, you call to your guardians, and whatever way you connect with spirit, and you visualize this flame. You can visualize it by way of Brigid, the goddess. I invite to look her up. I love her. I'll try to post some stuff in Spirit Medicine ways on her if I find something good that I don't have to write. And you see it outside of you. See the fire outside of you. And then as soon as you get this visual, whatever that fire looks like, and you can call to invoke Brigid, which I totally invite. So you're a triple goddess, maiden, mother, crone. Pretty phenomenal. I love her. I have a song for her that I created that came through. And then you start to see this fire within you. So it's a reflection, right? It's the within and without. But we do it without first because it helps us with that visualizing mind to do that and then bring it in. So now we see these two fires, now we see them merging. Becoming one. Un fuego. One fire. And then you bring this fire to the areas in your body that are looking for attention. The fire in your body, anywhere, could be a pain in your knee that is still connected to an old wound. Remember, physical manifestations are very connected to old wounds, usually trauma. These bonds and attachments usually link it to trauma. That's a social science perspective. You don't have to honor that, but give it some thought. And bring it to ideas and to thoughts. and to experiences that still need some transformation. And you bring this fire. Also bringing it to the parts of you that are very alive, that are very well and whole. And remember, although fire transmutes, it also ignites. And that's what makes Bridget so special. That which she tucks and cakes and cuts away and burns, she ignites. She brings the fire to the seeds. So, to the parts that are being requested, honoring and remembering. And these are those seeds that are part of your soul, that are your soul's path. So you bring it and you ignite them and you give them life. And you continue through this process until you close, going through all your body. I like to, when I do these visualizations with people or when I do them for myself, it becomes a very lucid process. So eventually the fire starts to do it on its own. It becomes a very spirit process. If in the beginning it is not like that for you, don't worry. The more you do these rituals, the more it happens. I really guarantee that. Pretty wholeheartedly. So, in the beginning, you need to move the fire through your being, you may. Free of judgment, remember. Bring it to the places that you're aware of, to the thoughts. And if the thoughts get out of whack, because the mind is very good at that, bring it there. Bring it there with intention. And you can connect this visualization, meditation process to a work, right? Magic process. You can connect it with your new moon intention. An intention of Imbolc time. So thank the fire when you're done. Call to your guardians and close your circle and open it so that all the blessings of which you have can go out to the air and they can make their way to spirits, right? That's what we do. In traditional Celtic work or witch work, we don't close circles, we open them. We cast them and then we open them, because opening them means to close them in a way, but you open them because you're letting out the blessings and all that was held there, all that was contained, the magic. Not for me to only have, for our circle, is for the world. So you open it and you expand it out. And it falls around you like a trickle of blessings and crystalline energy and light. So, and if you work with the goddess Brigid, always thank your guides and those who help. This sense of gratitude is very real. And the more we can live from it is the more that we will expand through it and we will understand it and we will channel it and champion it. And so a little tidbit is that Brigid is the triple goddess. And as the triple goddess, she is the maiden, the mother, the crone. I shared something on the maiden, the mother, the crone on my personal page. I think you'll enjoy it. It's sweet. It's just like a little thing. I haven't written anything on it. But the maiden, this is her beginning time. And we know the maiden loves to laugh and loves to play and loves to frolic. And the more that we can harness this energy is the more that we can purely embody our soul's truth. Remembering that we have our divine, unique wisdom. Remembering that we are on our path and that it is ours, as well as it is all of ours, you know? So remember that this is fun time, playtime, even though it's real serious time. And it's deep in the wounds and deep in the parts of us that are looking for the attention to come forward and so con eso dicho, muchas gracias familia. I love you so much. We're going to do a little bit of chakapain. Just a little soft chakapain, just to do a little bit of connecting. I'm going to do a little bit of Palo Santo because I got to get to my client. We're probably on their way. But thank you. I hope that was really supportive for you and that it made a lot of sense and that it also helped you see that embodiment is for all of us and that it's also very practical and very logical and very real and accessible. So I love you. And if you'd like to find a comfortable space where you can really receive this, if you don't have that luxury, that's okay. I burn some Palo Santo so that it can go through your DNA realm and it can expand into the greatest forms. And we call to and we give great thanks. And we alive in the spirit and the guardians of all that we are. And we honor the place of the spring in the east and the air that brings us to life. And we call forth the spirit of the fire that will ignite us as well as transmute us. And we call forth the place of the watery in the west, the watery ways of our soul, and the depths that we go into to transform them with clarity and purity and bathe them in love, even when they are in hurt. And we call it to the place of the earth, mother, father, all that is earth, that place of divine wisdom that is the wombing mother. And this time of the earth coming deep in and stirring, we call to that. We call to the belows and the ancestors and the underworlds that keep us strong and to guide us into these pure forms, into the above, the cosmic knowing and the infinite light of our spirit that burns bright, into the within, to the within. We call to the beautiful, unique, collective within, and all that is. Fuego tan bendito, fuego, fuego tan bendito, transmutone. Fuego tan bendito, transformone. Fuego, 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 de tu espíritu. Fuego, 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 fuego. Fuego, fuego, de tu vientre. Fuego, 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 corazón, corazón, corazón. Fuego, fuego, fuego. Fuego, venida, fuego, venida, la vida. Fuego, 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 fire, 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 bring it, fire. La 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 la. Trae la bendición en el fuego, fuego de tu alma, fuego de tu espíritu, fuego de afuera, fuego de adentro, fuego que transmute, fuego que transforma, fuego que limpia, fuego que da vida. Chumpatatanko chuchokumpatai, chumpatarai, este tonko toko, Pegnain tong kon tong pantai ka, and second to kon chumpata, Antarantan kontong pachatang ko shunto chitapotong patikinaitan ko tatako. Tatsako kong patakatangka takanana santaray tachatato. And tatata tatiranta. Sup kantan tatako. Sup tantan ko tsukotok. Sup. Aja, aja, aja. Hindsight, Shandai, Hashatai, Shuto, Hasadai, Hashakata, Shuku. Shuku, Shuku, Shuku. Going back into your knowing, connecting to your breath, hugging your being, remembering your fullness, connecting with the fire that is inside, the seeding that is happening, that is stirring, coming into full process, into form, into this realm, into that pure divinity that you are, all that you have brought back, and the fire that is ignited within you. Thank you, spirits and guardians, the precious waves coming back into our bodies through breath, connecting. Thank you, the blessed ones of within. Thank you, the blessed ones of above and of below, keeping us grounded in our full form while we expand in all of our knowing. Thank you to the process of the earth ones. Thank you to the water ones. Thank you to the fiery ones, the fiery transmutations, the fiery transformations, the fiery igniting. And thank you to the blessed waves of the springtime arrivals, to the winds of change, to the knowingness of the process in our mind, and to the full assimilation of what we are, to the rebirthing, the renewing of this time. We are ever grateful to you, blessed ones, of all of us. In the blessed knowing, thank you. And the love, and the care, and the joy. Looking forward to seeing you very soon and to journeying with all that we are. Here's my little love notes and my care. And remember to follow us, Spirit Medicine Wheels on Facebook, to follow us on Instagram, and to visit us on YouTube. The video will be there, and to subscribe if you haven't already. With love and joy, blessed Imbolc, happy Chinese New Year, soon to be new moon, and blessed divine embodiment in the knowing of our real. Until soon, familia, un moteo, ohan, ahomitakiro yasin.